Good afternoon. This is the Classical Cafe. I'm Katelyn Mattson-Levy, and this is the Green Room. We welcome the concertmaster of the Wichita Symphony Orchestra, Holly Mulcahy. Hello, Holly.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
I'm delighted that you're here, especially given the topic at hand, not only classical music, which I love, but specifically film scores and movie music. Would you please tell us about the upcoming concert?
Our upcoming concert is our Pops series, and it's all movie music. Everything from the John Williams Raiders of the Lost Ark and his Star Wars to Giacomo's Star Trek Into Darkness, and a lot of in between. Lord of the Rings, Magnificent Seven. I mean, all of these are my favorites.
Did you have any pull or influence over this programming? You slipped him a 20?
I said that I always share what would be so awesome if we could include. I would be so happy. Kid in the Candy Store, but frankly, all of this stuff is my favorites. All of it.
Why do we love film music so much?
I think, well, for everybody's got their different reasons. It can be, driving back to a memory from our first time we visited the big screens, or it just helps us feel a certain way. Some of us, when we see superhero action movies, that music kind of like is a soundtrack for us. It's kind of like an alter ego kind of thing. You just feel like about 100% cooler by listening to some of the stuff. Batman music used to make me feel about 100% cooler than I actually was. So it kind of defines our emotions and it tells a story, but it also is a soundtrack of our lives in a way.
I have memories that are defined by, my soundtrack CDs that I had in my old, Dodge Dynasty, light blue. I get out my CD case, and so much of what I would purchase during that time was film scores,
Yeah.
Legends of the Fall. I mean, this is like, we're talking like mid 90s when I was in high school. And I would drive around with my friends, and we would just listen to film scores. We would be the main characters in our own lives.
Exactly. And that's the same thing. I have bought film scores that I haven't even watched the film of, like Out of Africa, one of my favorite scores ever. Never seen the movie,
Never seen it.
which is just terrible. But I'm such a John Barry fan. I loved his stuff in James Bond and some of his other movies. But I never saw Out of Africa, but bought the soundtrack anyway. So good sound.
So many people fall in love with film music before they realize that that is classical music. And it's such an opportunity to grasp new audiences too.
It really is. You're kind of fed this music through a medium that is very familiar to us. We don't have to dress up to go to a concert. We don't have to particularly behave, how one expects to behave in a concert. You go to a movie to have fun, and this music is just kind of like fed to you without you really realizing it. And you walk away humming these incredible tunes and remembering certain themes from certain superheroes or certain heroines and characters, and you start to identify with this music. But it is the same thing. You can listen to John Williams and Prokofiev, for example, and say that's very similar. So if you like John Williams' Star Wars, you're gonna love Holst the Planets. You're gonna love Prokofiev Symphony 5. It's familiar music. You already know you like it.
Yes. And you want to recreate what you were feeling the first time you heard it or the first time you saw the scene in the movie. And you think about, it was this whole combination of the cinematography plus the music. And I was just in this really, really deep emotional place. And then you seek out to recreate it. So you go, you get the album and you listen to, that one spot that moved you so much and you just put it on repeat.
Right. Yeah. And just taking those little repeat memories, it can take you back in time. Like to this day, whenever I hear the soundtrack to Moonraker, James Bond movie, it wasn't the greatest movie, but the soundtrack's great. Takes me right back to a date I had with my dad. It was a daddy-daughter date. And it takes me back instantly. And it's just such a happy feeling just to be in that space, in that time with my dad.
We're going to talk a lot more with Holly about not only movie music, but her work with the Wichita Symphony Orchestra and beyond. The Wichita Symphony Concert is this Saturday, February the 5th at 7:30 in Century 2 Concert Hall. For tickets and information, go to their website, wichitasymphony.org. We're going to hear some of the Lord of the Rings film score by Howard Shore. Eric Kunzel leads the Cincinnati Pops. Themes from The Lord of the Rings by Howard Shore. The Lord of the Rings is on the program this Saturday night for the Wichita Symphony Orchestra concert. It's all about the movies. It's movie music this Saturday night. The concert is at Century 2 Concert Hall. It is at 7:30. And I'm Katelyn Mattson-Levy talking with Holly Mulcahy on the Green Room. Holly Mulcahy is the concertmaster, not only the concertmaster, partner for audience engagement.
Yep, exactly.
Tell us a bit what Partner for Audience Engagement does.
That is a position that helps kind of build bridges to our audiences. A lot of orchestras traditionally haven't really built a lot of bridges to bring people into the concert hall where they feel welcome, where they know somebody. So I'm building bridges, getting to know the patrons, listening to the patrons, listening to them about what they want to hear, and we're hoping that some of this music they will respond to by saying, I loved hearing this, I would have loved to hear that. So it's just kind of creating this bridge of communication and just getting to know each other.
There is a guest conductor for this concert. Who is it?
This is Ron Spiegelman. He is a wonderful conductor, very well versed in movie music. He has conducted a lot of symphony orchestras with film. And the last one I did in Wichita was E.T. with Ron.
Oh, he's no stranger to Wichita then.
He's no stranger, yeah.
That's fun. But we won't be watching anything.
We won't be watching anything.
We're strictly relishing in the music this time.
And that's what's so cool about Movie Pops programs is because you can just remember the scenes of the movie and then can move on to the next movie. You don't have to be engaged for the whole commitment of 2.5 hours or whatever a movie is. So it's just the best of.
Yes, and so much fun to be in the audience because the audience will collectively hear something they recognize and we'll all start laughing together.
Yes,
and we remember it, or we'll gasp.
Exactly.
Or you'll hear everybody go, "Oh,"
or just applaud. I mean, I've done a lot of movie concerts where we'll play like Magnificent Seven or the opening of Star Wars, and people will just cheer, and it's just so exhilarating. You just really feel like charged up from that on stage. It's just a really great feeling.
Yes, because everybody in those moments, we're all just so happy to be there, and we're so happy to just recognize how we all think the same.
Exactly.
Like we could be so immensely different in a dozen different ways. But you start playing the theme to Superman, all of a sudden, we're all feeling the exact same thing. And It's just magical.
It's what music does best, which is connects us all. Like you just said, we can all be different coming from different places, but we've all had this experience with movies, with how they make us feel. And that's what's so powerful about this kind of concert is the feeling.
And Wichita Symphony Orchestra is very good about reading their audience. And I've never seen an audience more appreciative. I mean, it's pretty wonderful. And I think that your role as, partner for audience engagement and the way that your goal is to reach out and connect with your audience members and not just the ones who might be donors, not only the ones who have the means to like have trusts established and sponsor whole concerts, but just, kind of your average everyday, ticket holder who might come to the symphony twice a year.
Right. Everybody from age 5 on up, there's different relationships to be had and different ways to welcome people in. And I look at 5-year-olds who come to these kinds of concerts as future concert goers, future ticket buyers, future donors. It's building this strong relationship of a relationship through music, which we all can understand in our own ways.
The Wichita Symphony Orchestra has some COVID requirements, protocols to keep everybody safe at their concerts. I'm going to read them really quickly, but you can find all this information on their website, wichitasymphony.org. So you have to be vaccinated, and you have to show proof of vaccination, or you have to show a lab negative COVID test, meaning not one that you do at home, one you go get at your doctor's office from within the past 72 hours. And on top of that, masks are required.
Exactly.
So getting back into the concert hall after the past couple of years and being able to consistently stay there is something to really be proud of, don't you think?
It really is. It feels marvelous and gives us a perspective that, try to always look for the glass half full kind of thing. It gives us a perspective of value, what we had been missing. It has made us lean into the music more. It has really made us appreciate in a different way what we already had. And just the sharing on stage and sharing with an audience, it's given us an appreciation that we can actually feel. And I think it's made us a stronger orchestra, and it's built some really incredible bridges with the audience who has returned to enjoy it.
We're going to hear the Magnificent Seven, which is on the program. And I've heard you mention the Magnificent Seven many times since making your acquaintance a couple of years ago. Would you please introduce this piece of music to us? And we're going to hear the Hollywood Bowl Symphony.
This is a piece, Magnificent Seven from the movie. A lot of the themes come from Aaron Copland style works. And once you feel the opening of this, it's just a nice ride into the West and the superheroes of the West being the gunslingers and the people who are out to make good for all by Bernstein.
Elmer Bernstein's film score to the Magnificent Seven. The Hollywood Bowl Symphony Orchestra, that's who we heard. And actually, that was Elmer Bernstein himself conducting the Hollywood Bowl Symphony Orchestra. That's another wonderful thing about film composers is that you can still contact them. So many of them. I mean, they're living, breathing, current, contemporary, have their pulse on current day humanity. That's kind of fun too. Do you have a relationship, Holly, with many film composers?
I do. As many of our Wichita audiences know, George S. Clinton is a very dear friend of mine. He composed Austin Powers, Wild Things, Mortal Kombat, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, many of those. And I have a number of other film and TV composers who are friends. They're wonderful people. It's a really great art form. Like you said, they really have the pulse on our culture. I like to liken these kind of composers to opera composers of the 18th and 19th centuries, because that was kind of their storytelling, their way of getting, the drama out through opera music. Today, it's on the big screen, and it's kind of like our Hollywood is our American, I don't know, Vienna almost.
Mm-hmm. This is the Green Room, by the way, and this is Holly Mulcahy, the concertmaster of the Wichita Symphony Orchestra, who is performing an evening of movie music this Saturday, February the 5th at 7:30 in Century 2 Concert Hall. WichitaSymphony.org is the website to go to for tickets and information. There is a guest conductor this weekend, Ron Spiegelman, who this is not his first time conducting the Wichita Symphony, though. If you attended the E.T. in concert, he conducted that concert as well. Movie music, everybody loves it. It's something that excites us all. It certainly is accessible, and it seems like it's just such a fun concert. That's just it's just fun. That's all I can say about it. It seems like so much fun. Can you give us a rundown again, Holly, about what is on the program?
Right. We've got music from Batman and Dances with Wolves, Mission Impossible, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The March, which is one of my favorites, Superman, Wonder Woman, Magnificent Seven, Pirates of the Caribbean, which is another fantastic favorite, Schindler's List, nice violin solo for me, very poignant piece. The 007 themes, the James Bond, John Barry music, which is what promoted me into wanting to go into classical music, was John Barry and those Bond scores. Star Trek Into Darkness, which is one of my favorite scores. It's absolutely magnificent. And then closing up the program will be John Williams' suite, which will be all Star Wars. And there will be a little bit of Incredibles on there. And if you've not heard the Incredibles score, it is a hoot. It is just a wonderful, wonderful score. One of my favorite cartoon movies out there. So
Thank you
That's,
so much for being with me, Holly Mulcahy, and have a fantastic concert. The snow will have melted by then, don't you think?
I sure hope so. Maybe it'll blow by us.
I don't know. We're forecasted to get quite a bit.
We
I don't
are too.
remember. I don't remember snow in the forecast like this in the past couple of years in recent memory. But by Saturday, those roads will be clear for sure.
I
So
sure hope
people,
so.
I hope people get out and they see a symphony concert or two. Thank
Yes.
you so much for being here, and safe travels to Wichita,
Thank you.
and have a fabulous concert.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you soon.